This iPhone XS came into us doing the infamous infinite boot loop, where it just sits on the Apple logo and turns off forever and ever and ever and ever. The customer told us that they plugged it into iTunes to try and update the phone, and it came back with the dreaded error 4013. It's renowned for getting moisture into there and causing corrosion underneath the ambient light sensor and proximity sensor. So we open up the phone. It doesn't look like it's been exposed to any liquids. And the first thing that I'm going to do is remove the front sensor flex cable, reconnect the battery, and we can see that it turns on like that straight away with that disconnected. Now the next problem is that it's got no Face ID. Also the ear sensor won't work, no true tone, etc. So we need to fix that. Also, we can't leave a flex cable just sticking out of an iPhone. So we remove the screen. And with that now removed, we can take off the front sensor and ear speaker from the screen. Then we need to take off the ear speaker from that sensor because it's made of plastic and it will melt. We do this by just touching these two little dots of solder with the soldering iron, and it comes off pretty nicely. These are the two parts that we're going to be looking at. The proximity sensor is the little square one, and the little white one is the ambient light sensor. And underneath those, they tend to get corroded. So we separate them, drop them onto the preheater, secure them down with tape because I lost the little screws what attached to it and I didn't really like them anyway. Turn the preheater on to about 185 degrees C and then carefully remove the proximity sensor first. We can see this one's not actually that gunked up, but obviously it's causing these problems. So we clean it up with some contact cleaner, stick a bit of flux on there and a little bit of fresh solder. Clean it up a little bit more flux, and then we're going to reattach the proximity sensor using hot air and a little bit of wiggling around with the tweezers. Once the proximity sensor is secured into place, we can flip over the whole sensor array so that we can access the ambient light sensor on the other side. Like before, we're just going to get a bit of tape to secure it down and use hot air to remove it. And on this occasion, we can see there's barely any corrosion, if there is any at all. So I mean, we probably could have got away with just doing the proximity sensor on this one, but we'll clean it up, flux it up and reattach it anyway. I did melt the little plastic filter on there a little bit, but I did replace that a little bit later on. And with that now sorted, we can reattach the ear speaker with the soldering iron, make sure that's in place, and then reattach it onto the back of our screen. Secured down the 3 screws. Maybe I should have just dry tested this first, but we do quite a lot of these repairs and I was quite confident that this was going to work. Reattach the screen, plug in the battery, boot the phone, fast forward a little bit, and the phone boots. We've got no Face ID error. We can see that our flex is still attached, and we can see that we've still got True Tone on the phone. And then when we go into settings, scroll down to Face ID, we can see that it's going to allow us to set up Face ID, but the screen's not attached properly, so we'll do that a little bit later on as well. First, we just need to secure everything back down, which means that we need to clean off the old adhesive seal what's on there, apply a new adhesive seal. Lots of people always ask what these are. It's a dust and moisture seal, that's all it is, and it's really satisfying when we peel it off. And we can reattach the flex cables, the front sensor cable, then plug in the battery, screw down all the shields, peel back the last layer of the dust seal, crunch, crunch, screw, screw, turn the phone on, fast forward that bit, and we can see that the phone works as normal. Everything's back to how it should be. And when we test the Face ID, it will allow me to set up my face on it. Excuse the bad lighting here because it looks shocking, but yeah, job done. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.